What's going on, everyone? Emeroy here with another weekly update. I am filming this at Wednesday. The original plan is supposed to film this on Friday, but things are busy. So last week I left for Arizona on Thursday, came back Tuesday morning, and tried to catch up with work, and here I am. So, anyways, on to it in terms of the updates. So things that are being updated right now. One of the bigger updates is there's a batch of Temper Tantrum reactions that are on the way that include Lady Gaga Abracadabra, Chungha, was it Stress, Bad Villain, and SB19 Damn. So those are on the way. Those are going to be released on the Patreon first, and then it's going to be released on YouTube. And if you are on the membership tier of EmeroyTV, you'll probably get early access to that as well. But it's more the YouTube edited version. The Patreon version is the non-edited. It's the director's cut, so I don't have, like, it's a little bit more extended, and also the music is not modified, because even though it's a membership tier on YouTube, I still have to do a lot of editing, so the videos don't get blocked. And as it's what, 6 p.m. now. I've been trying to work through some copyright stuff today on some of the new videos of those certain videos. I think Lady Gaga got blocked, and Chungha got blocked as well. So I got to re-edit those so it doesn't trigger the content ID. That way you guys can actually see it, and that way it's not just meant for Patreon. So those reactions are about like 90% done. EmeroyTV reactions, specifically mine with the analysis stuff, 0%. I didn't prioritize it last week because it was a short week, and I prioritized more things that will kind of help ease like the things that had a sooner deadline but also had a bigger long-term impact, and reactions just weren't a priority last week. But I'll be working on this week. That one has like Zero Base One, another Psychers video, I think. Yeah. And also in terms of other work, so for A Lovely, which is one of the Vision Paradox clients, that's currently like at 20%. It's taken a while to kind of work with the videos because we filmed it at the files incredibly huge, to the point it's tricky I can't move them into my SSD drives because the files are huge. So I'm trying to compress it and also make sure that none of the quality gets lost after editing all of it. Along with that, Max and I recorded another episode of Awkward Tea Party. We got 2 episodes done. One is about the fires. Another one is about the past few weeks of just auditions, and yeah, it's been a wild ride. It feels like it's been a month ago since that last update, because I think that was prior to us going to the audition for Khalid, and I'll share a little bit more of that experience towards the end, and a couple other things. So in terms of Temper Tantrum Media Day edit, it's about 75% done. The main thing with that is just it's kind of a pain in the ass because it's very heavily edited. I added an AI depth of field to give it a little bit more. I think it just makes the video look better, but it is AI, and it is having to generate that depth of field for every frame, and it's also in 4K. So it just takes a while to render, and sometimes it crashes. And in terms of other Temper Tantrum stuff, there are 2 podcasts that are complete. One is it was an episode that we filmed back in Halloween, but I wasn't able to get to it because holiday stuff happened, and then the fire happened. So that's what caused the delay. I thought I had published it, but turns out we did not. So I'm catching up on those as well. So that one was from Halloween. The topic is what happens after you die. Do you believe in afterlife? I think it's a pretty fun episode. We definitely take an interesting route in terms of X-Men on that. And the other episode is about the debate about AI. It was originally supposed to be an off-topic conversation between Spillers, Max, Justin, and myself, and the topic was just so rich. I really wanted to talk on it because AI is affecting everyone's lives, whether you're creative, working a front desk, or just still at school. It's affecting everyone, and we were talking about it, how it affects specifically towards creatives and even dancers. So those are some like the projects I'm currently working on. Other things aside from that is Temper Tantrum. Let me sip this real quick. before I spill it over my keyboard. Temper Tantrum has a new subsidiary company called Ochacha, which is Made in Butler a Made in Butler cafe. Made and Butler cafe. I'm not too familiar with the whole that industry, but I know a lot of members from Temper Tantrum also came from a Made and Butler cafe that disbanded, and that one is headed by Noelle, who's the assistant technical director, but she's actually going to be the head honcho for that. So essentially, she's a CEO, leader, director of that division. The board of Temper Tantrum and Vision Paradox is essentially just there to help and assist and give resources as this one starts up. It's another startup helping on another startup. This Sunday, in terms of Temper Tantrum, we're having training with Brandon. Well, we start training back up because we took a week off. We only have 3 rehearsals a month, so we're going to be doing jazz training in the morning, Brandon's musicality training for the second session, and I believe Noelle's going to be teaching choreography after that. Okay, along with that, okay, that's going to be more Temper Tantrum specific here. Okay, so sorry, I just had to double check my notes between EmeroyTV and Temper Tantrum specific community. So in terms of more filming this month, Temper Tantrum is going to be doing another batch of reactions. So those are not requests. These are lists that I put together prior to filming, and according to what we think will do well, and then we film it. EmeroyTV requests are still on hold until July, maybe August, because I'm still fighting to catch up. But because we've been filming way more than I expected this year, I didn't want to do any filming until maybe any heavy filming until July, August, maybe September, but I don't know. But the content keeps on coming, and clients and projects keep coming, which kind of adds more to everything. So I'm doing my best to make sure I stay ahead of that. Along with that, I got the call. Was it today or yesterday? Yeah, I got the call yesterday for the offer to be one of the performers at Six Flags. Also Lauren. So that means Max, Lauren, and I, Team Polyjamorous, are potentially booked for the Six Flags, one of the Six Flags shows coming up. That means it's going to be more rehearsals, more dancing, which also means it's a little bit more constrained in terms of the other things I am trying to output for the community here. Yeah, because I know this upcoming weekend, May 3rd and 4th, is going to be at least 2 15-hour days of dancing. So yeah, so it's going to be that, and then rehearsals every week until the show. So expect maybe a potential slowdown. I would like to not have to, but 2 days of dancing and 2 days of 15 hours of dancing, I probably would need a recovery day just to physically, mentally have the energy to keep. I don't know if I would have the energy to keep going, but who knows? I love what I'm doing, and I might just get an additional 12th wind to get things done. But yeah, in terms of just the Khalid auditions, that happened last week. Wednesday, I think the audition started at 9:30. Max and I didn't get there until 10. When we got there, it was like a freaking ride at Disneyland or any theme park that you guys go to. It was like a 2-hour wait, and it was a massive line. Max and I really debated about staying or going, because Max already also had an onboarding meeting with Six Flags that day, and so we didn't want to be late. But also, I didn't want to stand for 2 hours. But there's also a big part of me that didn't want to, let go of this opportunity, even though I believed that the chances weren't exactly big, because I didn't really dress for the part, and we literally just woke up and left. Max put on some makeup because being a female presenting performer, there's a certain look that you try to go for. As for me, There's a certain look I should be going for too, but I just didn't give a fuck that day. I was just tired as shit. But I was there. And it's not every day that there's an open call to audition for an artist. I think the last one I was aware of was Doja Cat, and I think that was 2 years ago. And the other one, not exactly an artist, but another open call for someone big was also the Jabberwockies. So, and it's oh, that's right. There was also an open call for the weekend back in January, but we could not do that because of the fire. So yeah, Lauren got a call back, but unfortunately the fire is that the virus canceled that whole event in general. But Lauren got a call back for that. But so thankfully there was like 2 artist open calls this year. But again, it's not. I don't think it's happens often because once an artist has their select group of people, consistency is important, and they try to keep working with them for at least a few years. So, anyways, with that, it was a 2-hour wait to get just to step foot into the studio. I couldn't film anything inside because they had us put our phones in pouches, and we couldn't do any. I couldn't take it out because it had a little magnet thing that was the only way to open it. But the way it was formatted was because it was they would bring people in, and they would have you come in 10 at a time. Oh, not 10 at a time. They would bring a huge group of people in. They would line you up against the wall. 10 at a time would go on the floor. You would freestyle maybe 30 to 60 seconds, depending if they liked what the group was bringing. And within that 30 to 60 seconds, they would yell switch, and you figure out a way from going back to the front to the back, and whatnot to try to get noticed. So essentially, and it said in the flyer that it was very much based on the the look and the dancing. So I did not have the look, but I personally think I had the dancing. But it was honestly hard doing it because 2 hours of waiting in line and then maybe getting a minute to warm up and then going. That was rough because at that point my back was starting to hurt just from standing all day, not all day, for standing so long. But I threw in the usual signatures. I think were good crowd pleasers. The track that they were playing was very high energy, a lot of fun. I really liked the track a lot. The best way I can describe it is it was kind of a little housey. But yeah, our group. So the way they were doing it was they would have you freestyle, then they would cut you or keep you, depending if they wanted to keep you, and then you would go on and sign an NDA and all that stuff, and then you would get a number. After the freestyle round was the choreography round, which I think was pretty smart, because you want to see if the person can freestyle and if they have the look, and then you go to the choreography round, which I think was incredibly efficient because, especially since this is an open call, when I got there, I was like, fuck, how is like 200, 300 people are gonna learn choreography in the studio? But I think by the end of it, they had 50-ish dancers selected out of all that. So yeah, it was a great process. I personally enjoyed it. I ran into a lot of people as I was walking and through the line, and just made a lot of connections. A lot of people, a handful of first timers there, driving out from Vegas, from other parts of like the West Coast. Yeah, even though I was not in the mood, the fact is, like, because I personally just wanted to keep working, just be here, get the work done, get videos out for you guys. But it just came back down to, like, doesn't happen often. At the end of the day, it'll be a cool story, a cool experience, and regardless if I get the thing or not, it's still a great experience. And I personally, that's speaking from a place of luxury, that it's not like I am desperate for this job, because I know some people who have gone to these auditions who are desperate for it because it is part of their livelihood. Personally, to me, doing the professional dancing side, I think is a very much I would say a glorified hobby because I still work on the craft, I still dance, I still practice. I had a 2-hour practice today, but it's not the main thing I'm trying to pursue in terms of making my money. It would be nice, but I'm not in a place of desperation for it. Um, but yeah, at the end of the day, it was a good experience. Just putting myself out there regardless, and just to be in the same room with the artist and a bunch of other talented dancers as well. So I think the main lesson to really take away from that is just show up. Not a whole bunch of opportunities are always going to be there, but also be mindful of what are opportunities to you versus distractions, because just because it's a shiny object and there's a potential for something big doesn't always mean that it is the right opportunity. It could just mean you're starting from ground zero and have to build something else completely, when you could have just stayed on the other lane on what you were already good at, familiar with, and continue building on that. I think the real success for a lot of people is how long can you stay in the game without giving up and giving into distractions. And it's hard, because sometimes opportunities are genuine opportunities, but other times opportunities are just distractions. So that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed this update. Comment down below if you guys have watched this. If you happen to be watching this by the end of this 20 minutes, comment down below what you're working on this week, and I'll see you guys soon.